Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening, a little bit past 7:30, actually right at 7:30 on the East Coast. Yes, I'm a little bit late, but I had to change the entire show around. I had thought about doing something else and changing and shifting. I decided at the last minute, maybe I should just go with this. And so I decided that I'm going to go with what's happening kind of right now, because I've been talking about this for a while. What I've been talking about. A lot of you, particularly those of you who are RFK Jr. fans, and many of you are watching, I know, many of you are concerned about confirmation. How does someone get nominated? How do they get confirmed? How does someone take, their position in the Trump cabinet, right? How does that work? And I've been telling you, and then some of you don't believe me, some of you do. I'm glad those of you do, that just because Trump won doesn't mean all of a sudden it's all roses and he gets whatever he wants. There is still an establishment, both Democrat and Republican, in the Capitol that is not just going to roll over, right? They have to give in. Trump had a decisive victory. He's going to get a lot of what he wants. But just on principle, there are a bunch who are simply not going to just give in. They are going to have to get something in return. There is going to have to be a give and take. I've been telling you, there is going to be a give and take, and there is a give and take here that's happening. I've also said something else, which some of you get mad at, but I'm still going to tell you because you're seeing it happening now. They are putting some things up which they know they're not going to get. That's literally how negotiating works sometimes, right? So I want this, knowing I will never get this, but I might be able to get this instead, or I can throw this or throw that. Any of those things that might go back and forth. Just because someone starts with this doesn't mean they're going to get it or even actually want it. They may or may not, right? So this is what's happening now, I think, for sure. There's another piece that's popping up here that some people aren't getting. Even the leaks that are coming out may not be real leaks. What I mean by that is they may not be real thing. In other words, if someone leaks, hey, they're going to get rid of X because they want to put in Y, it may not be because they want to put in Y, or they may not even be getting rid of X. It may be just someone talking and seeing how the public reacts, how people react to it. All of those things could be popping back and forth. What do I mean by that? As I'm sure many of you have heard earlier and then recently. Earlier, obviously, Matt Gaetz has been removed for the running for AG, and instead, they're having his woman Pam Bondi put in. You might go, wait a minute, I thought Matt Gaetz was Trump's guy. So maybe he wanted Matt Gaetz. I'm not saying he didn't. Maybe he did, but maybe he didn't. Maybe he threw Matt Gaetz up there to see what would happen, to see how we can get somebody else in or out. I do not have any insight into the Trump campaign, so I don't know if that happened or not. What I'm saying is that might have happened. I said, let me put Gaetz up. They'll fight, scream, and yell. And then I'll get who I really want, which is Pam Bondi. Not saying that's what happened. I don't know. I don't have insight into that. All I'm saying is that could have been what's happened. It might have been that he actually wanted Pam Bondi and thought maybe she would be a problem because she's a former lobbyist. Who knows? And also was his lawyer, right? Pam Bondi was part of his attorney team. Could be that. Or it could be the opposite, that he actually wanted Gaetz. And they said, no, too far. Too far. We can't go there. And he said, all right, I'll take Pam. And they went, fine. Could be that too. The next piece I want to grab on top of this is, as you also probably heard, there's a rumor now that Pete Hegseth may not be the Secretary of Defense, and that they may be putting in Ron DeSantis instead. And also, by the way, it's a secondary person talking to, which is Joni Ernst. Those who don't know, Joni Ernst is a senator out of Iowa. So also a former military. I think she was pretty sure she was Army. Lieutenant Colonel, maybe? Similar. She's similar to Tulsi Gabbard. So I think she also was an Army reservist who went active duty. She went to Iraq, I think, just like, if I'm not mistaken, just like just like Tulsi Gabbard did, I'm pretty sure, Lieutenant Colonel. Hegseth, I think, was a major, if I'm not mistaken, both officers, and all of them Army. So anyway, she went in. She's also being talked about maybe taking this position. Now, again, is this really what Trump wants? Is it possible? In my view, this here I'm going to give you is just opinion, so you'll take it for whatever you want. Is there a chance that Trump threw Gaetz to the dogs to get him out of his problems in Congress, and they're both happy that Pam Bondi's taking over? Yes, that's possible. That could happen. I could see that. That's realistic in my mind. That is a possible that it could have happened, which is why he's so happy and he walked away. He's like, fine, Gaetz, hey, I'm out of my problems. I'm going to get out of here and move on. I'll leave, and you can put Pam in, who I'm happy with. I'll go do something else. I'll go make some cash. Thank you for letting me scam, become a popular guy. Out. Could be. No worries. Do I think that's true with Hegseth? I don't. I do not. I think Trump actually wants Hegseth. That is what I believe. Again, I have no insight. This is what I believe from what I see. This is my opinion from what I see. I have no insight. I think he actually wants Hegseth. I think he does. And I think if he has to take someone like a DeSantis or someone like a Joni Ernst, he'll do it if he has to, but he does not want that. But here's the bigger issue. Here's the reason why I'm saying this. When it comes to AG, do the senators really care? Kind of, right? Kind of, but not crazy. Do the senators care about the Secretary of Defense? Absolutely, yes. That's the military-industrial complex. They all make big dollars off of that. Those senators care a whole lot about who is in charge of defense. They are getting paid off that. They're making tons of money off that. They're putting jobs in there. They're putting government jobs in their states on that. So that's why I'm thinking, again, why I'm thinking about this. Is it possible Gaetz just got in and got out and no one cares? Possibly. AG senators don't really care about as much. I mean, they do, but not crazy. Secretary of Defense? Oh, yeah. You got to have for senators, to be clear, not for us as Americans. Not for us. But for senators, you have to have someone who is at least kind of establishment to make sure that money keeps flowing. Got to. For them, you have to. So I could see senators fighting a whole lot harder against Hegseth than fighting against Gaetz, to be forward with you, a whole lot harder. And I say that because if Hegseth is still trying to fight, he didn't just walk away. Trump didn't say he's out. He didn't walk away. I think Trump actually wants Hegseth. That's my view. I think he wants Hegseth. And my view is I think he didn't really care if he lost Gaetz. I don't think Gaetz actually cared either. Gaetz is happy to get out and go do his cameo stuff. I think he's good. He's like, I was in trouble anyway, so I'm out. I think he's fine. Hegseth also resigned from Fox. Hegseth don't have a job right now. So I think he wants, look, he'll get picked up for some radio show or podcast. So he's not going to be starving, right? But that's piece one. But there's a second piece here that I think people aren't seeing, or maybe seeing, but I haven't heard. And that is in the case of both Gaetz and in the case of Hegseth. Both of them fit the narrative that the Democratic establishment has said is what MAGA is about, right? According to Democrats, MAGA is about anti-woman. My governor, and Kathy Hochul, literally said that. Her words were, if you vote Republican, you are anti-American and you are anti-woman. Those are her words, not mine. She said that. Lots of Democrats believe that. Hegseth and all of his baggage, and Gaetz and all of his baggage fit that narrative perfectly. Democrats would have loved to have them go. I don't think Democrats stop this. This is my point. I think Democrats are, no, let them go. Oh, no. We want it. We'd love, please. Can we have a circus? Can we have a clown show? We would love to have a clown show. I don't think Democrats stop this. If you look at what's happening, the people who are stopping Hegseth aren't Democrats. They're Republicans. Democrats are like, no, we would love, please put him in a confirmation hearing. Oh my God, they will make so many commercials. It will fit every narrative. They will raise so much money. Democrats would love to have Hegseth. They're going to put remember, some of you don't know, Hegseth's mom, supposedly, I'm assuming it's true, she agreed to it, so I'm assuming this is true, sent him a note about 8 years ago, whatever, 6 years ago, whatever it is, stating how bad he was. I mean, a terrible note. He's a abuser of women and blah, 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 blah. She has since said, recanted it. She said it was a horrible divorce. She was angry. But whether she has or not, you know that is coming out. You know that's coming out in the hearings. And there's going to be some senator, well, Mr. Hegseth, your mother says, blah, 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 blah. How do you, of course, and that's going to be their grandstanding. And Republicans know that. And they're like, we don't need this. No. And that's why they first thought about DeSantis. DeSantis is much more bulletproof because he's been through a lot more from running for president. He's not bulletproof, but he's much more. But Joni Ernst is a woman. I mean, Democrats will call anybody anti-anything and hysterophobe, but a whole lot harder if you throw up Joni Ernst as Secretary of Defense versus Hegseth. Both combat vets. I don't know. Well, she may not be a combat vet. I'm not sure if Joni is a combat vet. I don't know if she is. She might be combat zone. I'm not sure she's a combat vet. He's an actual combat vet. But doesn't matter. I mean, still, no shade, right? No shade. Just saying, but it's harder to attack Joni than it is to attack Pete. That's for sure, right? And then who replaced Gaetz? A woman, Pam Bondi. Challenging to hammer her too, right? Challenging to make that happen also. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's another, it fits a narrative too. So this is a very tough one for them. But my opinion about over the whole thing is just Trump might not have been looking for a replacement for Hegseth at all, because so far he hasn't said anything. But that doesn't stop Republicans who don't want the clown show from leaking it. It doesn't mean that the Trump, that senators who are old school, who don't like Trump and his crew, leak, oh yes, DeSantis. And they leak it to the press. And the press can't wait to make Trump look bad. Cannot wait. So they will eat anything up. Oh my God, that's what's happening? Boom, everywhere. Of course, makes total sense. I get it, right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I understand it. So they bring it up. Or maybe somebody else saying, wait a minute, you know what? Why don't we say Joni Ernst? Get her in this one too. They leak that. Now, Trump, according to the Trump people, neither of these things is a thing yet. It's people close to this and people close to that, and the media explodes it, of course, right? Which again, I get what they're trying to do. So it really does make it really does make me think that Trump actually wants Hegseth, but probably didn't care at all about Gaetz. Not didn't care at all. Was okay losing Gaetz. Now, why does this matter? Because if you are an RFK Jr. fan, here is the good news. Do you hear anything about RFK Jr. right now? Not as much. Not as much. Not just that, you also are hearing some Democrats come over and say, I'm okay with RFK. I'm all right. I'm okay. Now, why would someone who's a Democratic senator, why would they say, I'm all right with RFK? Why would they do that? There are several reasons why someone like a Cory Booker or others might do that. Number one, if you represent an area that has a lot of problems in health, this makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I want to keep my people happy and keep them healthy. RFK is not bad, but something else. If I want to go all out on someone like a Pete Hegseth and hammer him horribly and just become a monster against him during the hearings, but I'm good to RFK Jr., well, then I'm not a partisan guy. See, I love RFK. I'm not partisan. See, I'm not partisan. It's not partisan that I'm a good Democrat. I'm not a partisan one. I'm going to go pet RFK Jr. on the head and say he's good because that'll make me happy. It's fine. And then I'm going to strike hard on Hegseth, or I'm going to strike hard on whomever the person. Oh, the guy they want is Kash Patel. Man, they all want some cash. Right, so you hit Kash Patel. But I've got some Democrats okay with cash even. That blows my mind. But some are. But they're going to want to hit these people. So if they just hit every single guy that Trump puts up, they're going to look partisan. They don't want to look partisan. So they got to find somebody who they can like to show they're not partisan, right? I mean, of course they're partisan. That isn't the point. The point is image. So I could see the person benefiting from these attacks right now is actually RFK. I think Bobby Kennedy Jr. actually can benefit from this because everything's being pointed at two other people. Now, will they eventually put themselves at Bobby Kennedy? Of course. But the problem becomes something else. There is a certain amount of political capital that people are going to be spending here, right? How much capital am I going to spend and where, right? How am I going to, and also, what do I use to attack which, right? What do I use to attack which? What I mean by that is, why don't I leave, if I'm a Democrat, why don't I leave RFK alone? Let him get through. I'll call him a good guy. I'll pat him on his head. I'll say how nonpartisan I am. And I'll hammer the hell out of Cash Patel, make my money off of that, do that as my stuff. If Hegseth gets through, I'll slaughter Hegseth. I'll call him anti-woman. I'll call him a drunk. I'll call him all the bad things I can. I'll make tons of money off of raising money off of that. Fine. And one or two of them will stop so we can say we stood up against Trump. But Trump will still get 24 out of 25 people he wants, but they'll stop one of them and claim victory and how they step towards the monster Trump. And that'll be their commercial for when they run again, how they beat back the Trumpsters or whatever they say. They'll do that. They'll be happy and say, wait a minute. So now that we got RFK in, how do we stop him? Well, we don't have to. Why would we bother? Literally, the pharma industry has billions of dollars to throw against them. They'll do that instead. They'll do that, and we'll stand behind them, kinda, and they'll give us money. I could see that happening. I know some of you are going, Larry, that sounds horrible. What about the American people? Oh, we don't count. We aren't in this. We don't matter. We're in the way. And I wish that I was joking. I'm not. We're just in the way. So we're out there to be fooled, so we can be fooled into believing that they care about us. And then they move on from there. That's where I think we are right now. The idea that Pam Bondi could be the AG is fine. She was I think Florida AG. I think Florida, if I'm not mistaken, I think she was Florida AG. So a lot of people from Florida, a lot of people from New York. Why? Because Trump picks people he trusts. I know people aren't always happy about that. I'm not saying it's the right answer. I'm saying it's what he does. So yes, he absolutely does that. 100%. He is all about that. So that's an interesting piece that he's trying to pick. And she is loyal. She was his lawyer. She's very loyal. I think that's a good idea for him. For him, that is a very good idea. The odds of him getting attacked that way, pretty slim when your former lawyer is your AG. It's a safe bet for him. So I understand why he's doing that. The second piece is the more women that Republicans can put in these places, the harder it is to make the attack that it's anti-woman. Not that people won't do it. Not that women can't be anti-woman. Women can absolutely be anti-woman, right? Of course they can. But it just makes it a whole lot harder. The allegations against Hegseth are going to be horrible. Here is the issue. If Hegseth actually stays on board and goes through it, if he does, and he actually gets confirmed, if he does, he's bulletproof. That's the advantage. Because I'll bet you any amount of money, they will bring up every single allegation of every single thing against him. And it will be everywhere, all over CNN, all over MSNBC. You'll see it everywhere. And if he gets through that, bulletproof. Can't be touched. So that's the advantage. The advantage, if you get through the gauntlet, he's bulletproof. That's the advantage for Hegseth. But the problem is getting there. And the problem is, does Trump is going to have to spend political capital to get Hegseth. I think he wants him, otherwise he would drop him already. So I do think he's prepared to spend some political capital on this. He does want Hegseth. I think that's obvious. He does want him, honestly. Hegseth is not a pawn. Again, I think Gaetz was a pawn. That's my opinion. I think Hegseth is not a pawn. I think Trump's very happy with Bondi. No worries. He does not actually want DeSantis. Will he take DeSantis? Yes. Because that also shores up a bunch of donors. If you remember this, a lot of the establishment that is just anti-Democrat but still doesn't like Trump, they still like DeSantis. They still do. DeSantis is acceptable to them, right? Even though he's anti-woke, which they love the anti-woke stuff, right? Oh, stop the wokesters. They love that. So they get an anti-wokester and they get a guy they can accept because he's establishment enough. So Trump can handle that. Ernst is also establishment. She is too. but she's not loyal to Trump. Neither is DeSantis. But DeSantis is loyal to whomever he can get his check from. So there's an advantage for DeSantis in that regard. So I know I went a little bit long on that, but I wanted to cover a lot of those pieces that I think some of you were concerned about. And as I ask you all the time, if you like what I'm saying, and if I'm giving you some insight that you enjoy, if you're still here watching, then click, punch, attack, smash, touch, whatever, caress, if you might, the button known as LIKE. Yes, that will be like. That is the one. Yes, that's the one I need you to do right now. It is free, and it helps me tremendously in moving this forward. And I'm trying my damnedest to move this forward. I have now, I think, 6 shows in a row in 5 days. 6 shows in 5 days. That's right. I'm still going, so I haven't stopped yet. By the way, for you guys who don't know, I will be traveling this weekend. Yes, I will. This weekend, I'll be in upstate New York. Now, I know you're saying, Larry, upstate New York, you are from the city, so that means Westchester County. Yes, and if you're from New York, you've just been insulted. I'm kidding. I mean actual upstate New York. I will be in Cortland at the Cortland Diner on Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So if you are in that area, I'll be in Cortland County at 5 p.m. Eastern in the Cortland Diner this Saturday at 5 p.m. I will be in, I'll be at Ray's Restaurant in Canandaigua at 9 a.m. on Sunday. I will be at Veneto's Pizza and Pasta in Monroe County in Rochester at noon. And then I will be, hold on, where am I going to be? I got one more spot I got to be. And hold on that spot. I'm going to be in, I think I'm going to be in Elmira, if I'm not mistaken. That is going to be Sunday evening. Let me see if I can find that real fast. Yes, I will be at the Ill Eagle Tap House in Elmira at 4 p.m. on Sunday. So if you want to come see me, I'll be there. I'll be bringing myself, another person, maybe one more person. We'll be there chatting, talking, having a good time, talking about New York State. I'll answer your questions live, and I will try to live stream it if I can here. I'll live stream the actual event. People can see it. My events are anywhere from low end 3 people, high end 300 people, anywhere in between. I don't know who shows. I ask the same thing when they come to any of my events. The events are always free, not always, but 99.9% free unless they're literally a fundraiser. These are not fundraisers. If you want to give money, always give money. But it's not a fundraiser. Come see me. I ask only one thing. Every one of my events is always at a privately owned facility someplace. Family owned, always. All these places are individually owned, no franchises, no big business, small owned. Please buy something. That's all I ask. Not required. If you just want to come see me, you're not required to buy anything. Not required to spend one dime, except whatever gas money to get there, or if you walk, whatever. That's it. But I ask you, please support the local business. Buy something. If you're not in a good financial spot, buy a soda or a coffee. No worries. If you're in a good spot, please buy a meal. That's all I ask you. If you're in a good financial spot, bring friends, buy all of them meals, right? Okay, so if you're in a good spot, bring your friends, buy some meals. Regular, buy yourself a meal. Not doing so good, buy a cup of coffee. Something. Soda. Whatever you want. Please give the local person some type of support. That's all I ask. I will be putting up details tonight, later tonight or tomorrow. They'll be on my Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. I'll pop it all up so you'll see them all. If you want to come by, happy to see you. Yes, I'm starting my 7th full Sharpe. I have covered this state 6 times. You often wonder, how does Larry know so much about New York State? I travel it every year, whether I run or not. I've only run twice, but I've traveled the state and gone to every single county at least once for 6 years in a row. This is my 7th one. Next year, I'll do another one, which will be 8 times. So I will cover the state 8 times, 8 years in a row. I know I am insane. It is true, but that's true. So if you think that's good, then do me a favor. Share this on Twitter and Facebook. Put this into Facebook groups. Let people know what's happening. It's important. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Subscribe to me on YouTube, Larry Sharpe and or Sharpe Way. And also follow me. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. If you want to super chat me, of course, YouTube super chats are amazing. They help out tremendously. And you can also become a member on YouTube. Click that join button. $5 per month, right? Helps everything move better and faster. So I can keep going and go out on weekends and go see people and bring people and get yelled at sometimes. I do get yelled at sometimes. If some of you may have seen, sometimes I go to places and people yell at me. It does happen. Usually it's a lot of positivity, right? Usually it is. But every once in a while, some guy or gal will come up, be mad at me. I'm wrong. I'm stupid. I wreck things, whatever. Or just not want to hear what I have to say. Just yell at me. It does happen sometimes. So, and I rarely yell back. I have yelled back, but rarely do I yell back. Usually I'm pretty good about it. So just so you have that, I think you guys might enjoy. All right, let me grab a couple of your comments if I could. Let's see here. Vivek, always early, my friend. I'm happy you come in so early. I like all of Trump's picks other than Rubio. Secretary of State should be neutral, not a neocon or isolationist. Vivek Ramaswamy would have been a perfect middle ground for Secretary of State. I disagree on Ramaswamy. I don't think that he would have been a Secretary of State. I like where he is now. He's better there. I think Vivek's better trying to outside looking in. That's just my personal opinion on him. I think he's better that way. He doesn't understand the bureaucracy at all. And a Secretary of State is massive bureaucracy. At least Rubio understands bureaucracy. I mean, I don't like Rubio either, but I'd like to have someone who kind of gets diplomacy is, how to explain this? Diplomacy is a lot about decorum. It's a lot about precedent. It's a lot about bureaucracy and stuff. And when it comes to diplomacy, I'm not saying you have to be a bureaucrat or be a neocon, but you do kind of have to understand decorum in a way that other people may not, bureaucracy in a way, just bureaucrats in a way. So when it comes to that position, I'd rather have someone who at least gets decorum, gets that kind of stuff. Ramaswamy does not. That's not who he is. He's the kind of guy who wants to go with like a bull in a china shop. He's not going to get it. He'd make a bad diplomat. That's my view. I think he'd make a bad diplomat. So, all righty. Sarah, thank you for the $2. Larry, what do you think happened with Massey? I think Massey wasn't gung-ho about this. That's what I think. Massey's not talking about this. I do know him, but he did not bring this up with me at all. So I'm going to tell you what I think. I have some insight to him. Not much, but some. I do know him. I've met him more than once. I do know him. But he did not bring this up to me. So I'm this is not. Sometimes I have inside information that I can tell you, yes, I know this, that, and this. In this case, I don't know, but I believe because I do know him, not just my guess from outside. He feels like he can help from inside also. He has been someone who has said he will go out of his way to write the bills for Maha. He will help out with MAGA and Maha and write the bills and get things forward and push them from inside. So he is okay doing that because, Sarah, he's safe. You may not know this. Massey runs unopposed. Unopposed. He is 100% safe in his seat. Nobody's going to beat him. And they tried to. Democrats cannot beat him in his seat. It is impossible. They don't run against him. Like you said, he runs unopposed. Democrats won't even bother fielding a candidate. They don't even bother. For a congressional seat, Sarah, Democrats don't bother fielding a candidate because there's zero chance of victory. It's a colossal waste of time and energy and money. They won't do it. Literally. For a congressional seat. Republicans tried. In fact, it was an AIPAC-backed candidate. AIPAC threw 7 figures against Massey, trying to stop him. Couldn't beat him in the primary. He beat AIPAC in the primary. He's one of the only congressmen who doesn't have an AIPAC guy. Just saying. He's safe. Massey is safe. He's good. So he can do a lot from inside. I think that's one of the reasons what happened. That is my gut. That's what I feel is true. Bonnie, becoming a new member. Thank you, Bonnie. Appreciate the membership. Really do. Thank you so much for that. Every bit does count. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I hope I answer your question, Sarah. That is what I think is happening in this case. So Kim is here. Honey, I'm home. I'm glad you're here. I'm a little bit late. I know you like it when I'm a little bit late. It wasn't on purpose. But yes. Nate, how are you? He says, hello, Larry. Like, comment, share. Nate, I'm heading upstate next weekend. If you can make it, happy to see you. If you can be around. If you can maybe make Cortland or something like that, if it's possible. You're working, whatever, I got you. But if you can make it, it'd be nice. That's all. So yes. Lunatic is in the house. Appreciate you being here. Absolutely. So I see there's some Floridians here saying some stuff. Joe's like, one terrible governor episode to the other terrible governor episode, but I repeat myself. Yes, but I think my governor's worse. I know you think your governor's worse, Joe, but no, I think mine's worse. We both got bad governors. Agreed. I think mine's worse. Mine's worse. John says, not exactly how I wanted to get rid of DeSantis out of Florida, but we'll take it. Is Nunes good? I don't know. Nunes is the lieutenant governor down there, right? I know she would take over if he goes off into. And for those who don't know, why would DeSantis do this? I'm not saying he will do this, but why would he? He is term limited out. Florida has term limits. New York State does not. Our queen can stay queen for life if she wants to. No one will stop her. She will rule the world she will rule my state as long as she wants to. No one will stop her. But Florida has term limits, so he has to go. That's why he might take it. I don't know how good Nunes is. I don't really know her at all, to be forward with you. I know that she exists, and she's a Republican. That's all I know. So I'd be curious if you think she would be better or worse. I thought that no one could be as bad as Cuomo, so I assumed when Hochul took over, it would be better just because Cuomo was so bad. Yeah, that was a dumb assumption. Do you have the same assumption, John? I don't know. Maybe you do. Yes. So Shelley says, good evening. I don't like Trump choosing your former running mate who sued you off the ballot on falsehoods in lockstep with Cuomo, Lee Zeldin. Yes, he wasn't my running mate. He was my opponent. Actually, true story. In 2022, the Republicans, 2018 also, both times, some of you may not know this. The Republicans in 2018 offered me lieutenant governor slot. I said, no. Why would I do that? So I can lose them. I can lose on my own. I don't need your help to lose. I got that down. I can lose all by myself. Till 2022 came. They offered me again. Offered the lieutenant governor spot to me again. Both times I said no. Why? Why would I? To lose again? To lose. If I thought there was a chance at victory, if I believed it, if I thought I could make impact, if I thought I could help New York State out by being lieutenant governor, if I believed it, I would have considered it. I would have. I'm not making that up. If I thought I knew there was no chance for Republicans to win in 2018. That's one reason why I ran. I said it publicly. I said, you guys suck. That's why I run. I knew there was no chance Republicans winning in 2022. No chance at all. I called that race. Exactly. Again, I have receipts. I called it in a public forum. I said Lee Zeldin would lose between 5 and 7 points. He lost by 6. I called Trump losing New York State. I said lose between 10 and 12 points. He lost by 11. Some of you were there when I said that. So you know I said it openly. That's what I said. 10, maybe 12 points. Lost by 11. I know my state very well. There was no chance of victory in 2018 or 2022. Why would I do that? And even if there was a chance of victory, I would only do it if I believed I would have some influence in the actual administration. I don't know if that would have been true or not, right? So would I consider something like that? If I believed I could win and have some influence, I would consider it. But those two things have to be true. I would never. Just so I could lose again, I could lose on my own without Republicans. I don't need them for that. I've lost twice. I'm good at that. I don't need help for that. But yes. So in any case. All right, let me keep going down if I can. Lunatic is here and coming in hot as the lunatic does. He comes in hot. Lunatic, I'm going to get you on my show too. But I think I'm going to reach out to you via the one you visit is always Instagram. I'm hardly on Instagram. I need to get on Instagram more. I'm going to reach out to you today, tomorrow to get a date, get you on because you and I got to have a chat. But don't get me canceled when you come on. Watch yourself. You're going to get me canceled. So you got to talk baby talk for YouTube. So you got to say things like unalived and stuff. You got to do baby talk when you come on. I don't make the rules. YouTube makes the stupid rules. Or you know what? Maybe we'll do a Rumble show. We'll talk. Maybe because Rumble we can just say what we want. Doesn't matter. YouTube, I got baby talk on YouTube. Maybe we'll do a Rumble show only, or Rumble Twitter because Twitter doesn't care. All right, we'll chat. I'll reach out to you today, tomorrow via Instagram, and we'll see because I'm gonna get you on. Maybe a couple other people too. I got another guy I got to get on too, so we got a couple. Anyway, we will fix this. Yes. All right, let me grab down here if I could. Dave says political donors get ambassadorships. Yes. Governors and senators get ambassadorships. Yep. And cabinet secretary petitions. Yes. Doug Burgum was talked about for Secretary of the Interior over a year ago. Yeah, it's a common thing, right? And again, why? One of the reasons why, Dave, and this is the point that I brought up earlier with the Secretary of Defense. Secretary of State and AG, while they're very important and prestigious, they are. But the AG, as long as he doesn't go too crazy on stuff, it's okay. It's not huge. It's okay. When it comes to Secretary of State, he's a diplomat. So he's, out there more. Still important. But Secretary of Defense, that's where the money is. There's money in AG. Because, right, does he go after the big businesses or not? Money in that. Money Secretary of State, because out there, hopefully for them, starting wars and getting people to buy stuff, hopefully, right? Getting the CIA to blow stuff up, of course, right? But the big cash is Secretary of Defense. So they care more about that than anything else. Now, if you're going to bring senators, and remember, senators usually are more establishment. That's not a 100% rule, but it's a general rule. They are more establishment, right? So you have more of the establishment people going into the cabinet. That's what we want, because then we keep making money, we keep getting paid. So it makes sense. You are correct, and it makes sense to do so. Yes. So, all righty. Let me grab a super chat if I could. Peace, thank you for the $5. Dean Peace Logic running 6 streams from Larry. Oh my God, look at you go. X, YouTube 1, YouTube 2, Facebook, and Rumble. What do you make me work so hard, Larry? You know, I'm a mean taskmaster is why. That is why I'm a mean taskmaster. That's the reason why. Most people don't even like me. So yes. All right, let me see if I can do a couple more of these. Straight in from Rumble says, thank you for the $5, my friend. Good evening, Larry. Glad you're here again. I, for some reason, just don't stop. I'm not that smart. I just keep doing this. I should probably stop, but I just keep going there. Straight in also brings up a comment, which I like. I brought this up. He says, did he put Gaetz in to flush out the rhinos? Maybe, and that's my point. If you notice, Gaetz came in and went out easy. Trump wasn't mad. Gaetz wasn't mad. Nobody was mad. They went in. So I think you have a point, right? And this might have been just and I agree with this. I think he came in. All right, what's going on? Okay, there. Okay, good. Okay, what did he do? Okay. Can we just put Pam in? And they went, Pam, she's the former lobbyist? Yeah. Huh. She's one of us. That's good. Yeah, that'll work. Put her in. We're good. And boom, she's there. And then no one's fighting Pam now. She's all good. They made that deal, right? I've been telling you this. I know some of you think I'm nuts, but I'm telling you, there is a give and take here. They are negotiating back and forth. That's happening. I know some people think, well, Trump won, so now he runs things. No, he's powerful. He has a lot of power. Don't get me wrong. He's in a very good spot, but he doesn't just all of a sudden run things, right? He still has to move through and fight back and forth and give and take. That still exists. So to make sure that we're all clear on that in any case. So, all right, let me grab a couple more of these if I could. I'm glad this is moving forward. So Joe says, due to Gaetz' resignation, there's a special election for Florida Congressional District seat. Libertarian Stan McDaniels is running, needs 7K to qualify. All right, so let me, I didn't know when that's, okay. Thank you for that, Joe. I think you reached out to the team about that. Maybe I'll see if I can have him on this week or next week. See if we do a little fundraiser for him. So yes, thank you for that. I appreciate you giving me these heads up things. I do appreciate it, Joe. Yeah. Minor Threat says Hegseth is trash. Well, there we go. I think a lot of people would agree with you, Minor Threat. I don't think you're alone in that. A lot of people absolutely believe that completely. And I think that's why, look, can he still make this? Yes, still possible. The question is Trump prepared to not throw away, it's a wrong word. That was my bias. Let me try to pull my bias. I try to pull my bias out. I'm still human. I try to pull it out. Does Trump want to utilize that much political capital? In my eyes, it's a waste. I wouldn't want to use them unless Hegseth is something special here that I don't know about, right? Unless he is. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Or unless Trump really wants to break up the military-industrial complex. I'm not sure that's true either. So I don't think he'll spend the political capital on this. I think if this gets too tough, he'll put somebody else in. He'll put in DeSantis or Joni Ernst or something. I think if he goes Ernst, my view, if he goes Ernst, there was a huge amount of backlash. Huge. Because Ernst is not the one. DeSantis is better for him. Because while DeSantis is establishment, he's also anti-woke. And that is what Trump wants. Clearly, Trump is all about the woke. He's all about anti-woke. So that would be better for Trump. Ernst, I'm sure, is too, but nowhere near the level of DeSantis is. And Ernst, that isn't like her priority. Like Ernst isn't about anti-woke being her priority at all. That's like DeSantis' bread and butter. all about anti-stuff. That's DeSantis everywhere. He's anti-everything. So yeah. Kim says, I heard lots of senators like Hegseth. They do. This is true. They do like him. It isn't a like, Kim, to be forward. You're right. Thank you for being a member, by the way. It's not about like. It's about how much damage will be done. Right? How much damage will be done. That's the issue. Not about the like. A lot of senators like him. Look, he's a hard-charging, Army guy, combat veteran. Yeah, of course they like him. Right? Of course. Doesn't mean he's the right guy for that position because of the price they may have to pay. I do think that Trump wants him, and he's prepared to pay a bit. How much can he pay? Roy says, less than 50% of voters supported Trump, and even those who did typically want candidates chosen on merit. Picking loyalists is not usually the best way to hire qualified candidates because they are loyal to the leader, neither the Constitution will be the people. Let me give you two sides to that, Roy. I think your numbers are correct. I'm not sure, but I think they are. But how Americans see it is if you beat Harris, you won the popular vote. While that may not be accurate to your point, but I think 90% of Americans will see it as, well, he beat Harris, so he won the popular vote. They will discard the independents. Now, clearly, I'm unhappy about that because I value my independents. I wish they would be more powerful. So I'm not happy about that fact. But I think the average American, while might agree with you technically, won't care. They go, oh, he beat Harris. So therefore, he won the popular vote. So I think that piece is a critical piece. The second piece is, you look at most Americans, they don't care about this. Even those who voted for Harris are like, well, guess we lost, move on. Now, the talking heads are yelling, guys like me are talking about it. Talking heads are, but the average American, a lot of them aren't. You don't see it on most local news. You don't see it on most of the people talking around. You don't see most, they're like, whatever. The people who supported Trump, they're okay with this. Now, the establishment Republicans, don't like this at all. They're like, can't we go back to George W. Bush again? Why can't we go back to Cheney again? They want that. So they're not happy. But the average Republican is like, fine, break it. I don't care. You can even hear it. There's people you will see, a lot of Republicans who are even talking heads like, we don't care. And they go back and forth. You don't understand. This guy's not qualified. He's this. He might destroy it all. Like, good. We don't care. When the system isn't working, you guys have heard me say 1,000 times, when I'm in trouble and only one hand comes out to me, I don't care whose hand it is. I'll take whatever hand. I got one hand. I'll take it. Are they a fascist? Are they a communist? Are they a Republican? Are they a Democrat? Are they progressive or conservative? I'm in trouble. And the hand is out. I'm going to grab it. And as I said in my show last night, if you remember, you go back years ago, it was Democrats who were the party of bad ideas and Republicans who were the party of no ideas. The Republican Party was going, everything's fine. What's wrong with you? It's all good. Everything's fine. That's why they didn't like Trump, remember? Because Trump was saying things were bad. No, everything's fine. We're good. Stop. America awesome. America great. Everything's fine. Democrats were like, no, it's terrible. We need socialism, more government. And while I think it's a bad idea, it was an idea. And if you're in trouble, you grab a hold of whoever has the idea. The country was moving left. But now here comes the Trump world who says, no, everything's bad. And we got to change everything. It's all bad. It's all swamp. It's all terrible. Democrats, particularly Harris, everything's great. What would you change? Nothing. Biden's perfect. Everything's great. All of a sudden, Democrats became the party of no ideas, and Republicans became the party of bad ideas. Break it all. And again, the only hand that comes out, I'll take it. I'll take that hand if it's a left-leaning hand or right-leaning hand, because I'm in trouble. And I think that's what happened. So I think you're right. This is not the best way to pick. Agreed. Again, I can't fight you on what you said. It's accurate. But what I'm saying is the American people, the first part, they're going to say whoever won the popular vote, and they don't care. That's a hand. I'll take whatever hand I'm going to get. I don't care. If that hand's going to break stuff, I guess we're breaking stuff. They just don't care. That's just my view. So there we go. All righty. Let's see. That Liberty Lady D, she's out here. She is saying, I hope everyone has followed Larry Sharpe over on his Rumble account at Larry Sharpe, even if you watched here on Facebook. Thank you for that. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. I'll grab a couple more of these. Shelley says, Hegseth was set up by the FBI, which makes me want him more. Nicely done, Shelley. Nicely done. There we go. Nicely done. I love that one. That's very good. All righty. Lunatic goes on to say, remember how much Trump increased military spending? This is my point. You're right, Lunatic. This is my point. I'm not sure he wants to destroy the military-industrial complex. I think his bigger issue, Trump hates the woke stuff. He's like, that's a thing. Like it bothers him, right? He's got like a personal issue. He's bothered by it. Clearly, he said openly. Him and Hegseth talked about it. And Hegseth is anti-woke as can be. So he doesn't like it. I think it's a personal issue. So I don't think to your point, I don't think it's about the military-industrial complex, which is why I think he'll take DeSantis. DeSantis is not going to trash the military-industrial complex. He's not. But he'll be the anti-woke warrior, which is what Trump cares about. So I think you're right. That's why I think he's more apt to pick DeSantis than Ernst. If Ernst comes aboard, she's just going to be like every other Secretary of Defense. She's not crazy anti-woke. She'll, do some stuff because Trump doesn't like the woke stuff. She'll do something, but whatever. She'll be whatever. She's an army officer. She's going to be an army officer. That's what she's going to be, right? That's it. But if DeSantis comes in, he's coming in dukes up, right? And so that's why I think he would take him, because he's more worried about the woke stuff than he is military-industrial complex. I'm the opposite. I am far more worried about the military-industrial complex than I am the woke stuff. Far more. I reversed those two, right? Whatever. I don't like the woke stuff, but I don't care. I mean, the war's not going to end. What's going to end is military-industrial complex. That's the issue. The rest, whatever. I'll get over it. I'll get over the other stuff. I'm with you, Lunatic. I think it's far more important than anything else. So yes, in any case. All right. The AC, how are you? I don't know. I think the Dems are too hip on the idea of him loyalty testing the military for loyalty to Trump instead of the Constitution. So you're saying you think I'm not sure the Dems care about that. I'm not sure I think the Democrats, particularly the senators, all right, we're talking senators here. They're the ones who confirm. Democratic senators eat off the military-industrial complex just like Republicans do, right? In fact, in certain states more, depends on the state, right? There are a lot of bases in areas, but a lot of jobs are actually in blue states. New York State, upstate New York the military-industrial complex, without it, upstate New York is a ghost town. I mean, it's already kind of a ghost town in certain areas, but it's far worse without it. So they want the military-industrial complex to keep putting out jobs. So I think the senator's big issue is you're not taking anything from my place, are you? Right? Can I keep my jobs? I think that's the biggest issue more than anything else. That's where I think they're going. So AC goes on to say, DeSantis, where is it? DeSantis was JAG. Yes, that's right. Remember, he was a lawyer in the Navy. He was a naval officer. So yeah, he was a naval officer. The other guys were Army officers. Hegseth, Army officer. Ernst, Army officer. And Tulsi Gabbard, Army officer. Major, Lieutenant Colonel. DeSantis was a naval officer. Yep. So there we go. All right, let's see if I can go down here if I can. Piggerbell says, JFK Jr. might squeak by after all. I got to tell you, I hope he does. I really do. I would much rather I'd much rather them decide that he's worth getting by and not hammering him, because of all the things we have to worry about. If we can break any of these corporate connections, this crony capitalism, any of it, if it can be broken, it's him. To the point that Lunatic came up with, saying, we want more, they don't want to break the military-industrial complex. I think look, I want to break it, but I'm being realistic, Pickerbell. Am I going to get everything I want? No, I'm not. I wish I could, right? I didn't get Lars Mapstead as president of the United States. I didn't get that. I didn't get a libertarian. I didn't get that. So I'm not getting my complete break with this private sector government garbage. I'm not going to get that. I can't have that. Okay, got it. Can I get one? Can I get one? I'll take one. Give me a break of either big ag and government or a break from big pharma and government. I'll take either one. I want both. I'll take either one. If it's 2 years from now and we're not giving subsidies to corn syrup, and we're not putting poison in all our food, and we're supporting local farmers, and we're supporting farm co-ops, and we're supporting people who want to have local farm to table, and we're actually made it to where that bad food isn't half the price as good food, and that good food can actually be the same price as bad food. So you can actually make a choice. If you want to have a hamburger cooked in whatever or cooked in something good, you can make an actual choice. It's not going to break your bank because of that. I'm good. I'll take it, because that shows it can be done. And once that shows it can be done, Tinkerbell, the next one can happen, and the next one. Right now, nothing's happening except things are just getting. I did a video, for those of you who care, in 2018, and I called it the hoodie video. Why? My marketing chief at the time said, Larry, every time you're out there, you got like a suit jacket on, or you got a collared shirt. When you walk around your neighborhood, what do you wear? I said, I wear a hoodie. He said, put a hoodie on. Took me outside to Astoria Boulevard, 31st Street. Right outside Ditmars Boulevard. Sorry, Ditmars Boulevard, 31st Street. And he just had me rant about how my neighborhood's changing. And I spoke 6 years ago about how every single store around me used to be a mom and pop and is slowly turning into a corporate store. Everyone's turning into a corporate store. The entire neighborhood is going away and turning into a corporate store. It's been 6 years. There's hardly any mom and pops left. Everything I talked about was true. Same thing with farms. Go upstate New York, all the farms going away. The mom and pop farms going away. And those who are staying are literally become Monsanto farms because they cannot survive without it. They have a choice: become Monsanto farms or go under. That's how bad it is. Can we break that? Can we just break that? I'll take it. It's hard to find diners. My neighborhood used to be 3 family diners, all gone. There are 0 family diners in Astoria, Queens, where I live, my area. There's some other places, but where I live in Astoria, Queens, my area, none, 0. Astoria was a Greek area. The Greek diner, for those of you who know, gone in my area in Astoria. There's a couple on the outskirts, gone in my area. So I will take it. I will take it. So yes, Straight End says, we need to keep Massey to stay on the ad committee for this reason. That's what I'm saying about Massey. You asked the question. I think Straight End's correct. This is why I think Massey wants to stay on. He can make some impact from being there. That's what I think. So yes. All righty. Let's see if I can keep going down here if I can. All righty. P says, are we seeing the horse trading going on, Larry? Oh, how they like RFK because they got some. Yes, we are seeing it. And that's why they're going to give up certain ones to get other ones. They're giving up some to get others. Yes. The AC says, expect Biden to issue some more pardons. Word is he only pardoned Hunter after Cash got nominated because he knew he's a witch hunter. Ooh. Cash seems to have an axe to grind. I think you're right, AC. And while a part of me likes that, right? As I mentioned before, part of me likes that. A part of me worries that you become McCarthy, right? So this is why you've heard me say 1,000 times, and I'll keep saying it. I do not want this to be about revenge. I don't. I would rather we let some people go to change the system for the future. Because if we focus on revenge, there will be witch hunters. And when you want to stop burning witches, a lot of non-witches get burned. That's how it works. So I'm with you on this. I am concerned. I would like, look, if he's got an axe to grind, okay, but let's focus on fixing the system and not revenge. It's not the right answer. So anyway, all right. Kim, thank you for being a member. I imagine the Dems are liking some of Trump's picks could be based on which agency they're getting paid from. Yes, Kim, you've hit it perfectly. Yes. Yes, right. If I'm getting a bunch of cash out of X or Y, those are the ones that I got to deal with, right? So then how do we do this? There was a movie years ago. Oh my gosh, maybe 90s. Maybe 90s? I don't. If I remember it right, it was called, some of you remember the movie. It's called this Distinguished Gentleman, I think it was called. And Eddie Murphy is in it. And he plays like a Georgia or South Florida, maybe? I forgot. It's a southern state. And he's like a scam artist, right? And the congressman that he has literally right now at the point and during the movie has his same name, exact same name. Same, like whatever. He's John Smith. This guy's John Smith. I forgot the name, but same name. And he dies. Most people don't pay attention to congressman, didn't know he dies. So he gets on the ballot with this guy's same name and does not submit a picture, right? So people think, oh, they voted for the same guy, and they vote for him, he becomes congressman. That's the premise of the movie, right? It's comedy, obviously, is Eddie Murphy from the 90s. So he goes there, and now the senior senator or congressman is telling him, okay, let me tell you what we do here. And the guy's like, okay, what do we do? He's like, well, if you do so-and-so, you get money from them. If you do so-and-so, you get money from them. If you do so-and-so, you get money from them. He's like, what? Yeah. So who do we get money from? I get money from this guy, money from that guy. That's all about. And at the end, he does some type of, again, I've seen the movie in years. He does some type of monologue about, I was a scam artist in the streets. He goes, but there's none compared to you scammers here. He's like, man, you guys are better than I've ever been, right? That kind of thing. And I know I'm joking and going long, but this is what you're talking about, Kim. They're going to horse trade this too. They are. So one senator's going to say, if I vote for this guy, I'm not going to get any money from these people. My money's going to dry up from them. They're going to say stuff like that. So someone else going to say, I got you. You support me on this guy, I'll get you money from these people. You promise me, yeah, I'll get you money from these people. And that kind of horse trading also happens, right? Where do you get cash from? Who's going to support me? One of the reasons why being a leader of the Senate is so important is very often because of how much money you bring in. Guys like Mitch McConnell have the strings to put a lot of cash into people's pockets. Nancy Pelosi, a lot of strings, put a lot of cash in people's pockets. That's one reason why they're powerful. They can put money in pockets. So, yes, to your answer. That was a long way of saying you're correct, Kim. So, Roger, how are you? Everyone freaking out over Trump Senate confirmations, knowing damn well ain't none of them going to be there by midterm. Trump's catchphrase is what, y'all? You're fired. Roger, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not. Because you might be right. What I'm going to say is, I hope you're wrong. I hope that he has learned something. I don't know Trump. Whether he has learned something, I don't know. I hope he has. And I hope he doesn't fire them all. I hope he doesn't. We'll see if you're right, Roger. I hope you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. Just saying I hope you're wrong. Peace, thank you for the $20, my friend. Glenn Greenwald did a scathing review on Hunter pardon. Biden stood in front of the Congress for the mandatory 5-year sentence for minor crack possession. It's the hypocrisy. He needs to make a large pardon to redeem his soul. I mentioned this yesterday when I spoke about this, and I agree with you, Peace, 100%. The way he pardoned Hunter was terrible. Can he make it less terrible? Yes. He can't make it good. It's bad. But can he make it less terrible? He can. He can make it less terrible by what you said, making large pardons to other people who he has wronged, maybe from the 1984 crime bill, maybe the non-violent people from Jay the day after 5, maybe that, any of those things. Maybe my piece, which I've been saying forever, and I'll still say it, he should pressure Kathy Hochul into pardoning Trump. I think he should. It will make it less bad. I agree with you. You are on the money. This is the right thing. He has got to do this. You are right. That 1994 crime bill, making it 5 years for crack, that he pushed for those predators, he called them, and that was Clinton who called them super predators, whatever he called them, what he called black people, as he has called them horrible things in the past. Yes, I completely agree. He should be making massive pardons. It would, if he did if he pardoned like maybe even Assange, right? I mean, something, if it's something like that, I would be better with this. I would, Peace. I'd be better. I'd be like, okay, all right. I got this, so I guess you get that. So yeah, I'm with you. It makes it less bad. Again, never good. But I go back, I said again, pressure Kathy Hochul to pardon Trump. They were already, just today, if you guys know this, they were already saying to dismiss all charges against Trump because of Trump's lawyers have now, so those of you may not know, have already petitioned to drop all of Trump's charges based upon Biden's pardon, saying Biden is saying the Justice Department is political. He's admitting it. The president is. So clearly this was drop all charges. That's being put together now. They've already submitted that. Now, I don't know if it's going to work. I have no idea if the judges will say so. But if I'm Biden, maybe I openly tell the judges that. Maybe I openly say, literally, just have a press conference and go, I'm talking to the judges. I agree with what Trump's lawyers say. This is what's been happening this entire year. Not only did it include my son, it included Donald Trump too. Imagine, to your point, Peace, imagine if Biden would actually do that. I mean, I can't imagine this fantasy. Maybe I'm wrong. Look, I'm going to have some hope. Peace, me and you, we're going to have some hope and some love. We're going to have some optimism. And we're going to hope that Biden would actually do something as magnanimous as that. I mean, he's a selfish guy, clearly. You can see it. I'm going to have him hope maybe he'll, I don't know, on his way out, do something magnanimous like that. That would be me. Imagine if he did a press conference and said, judges, listen to what Trump's lawyers are saying. I pardon my son because of how bogus this is. You should drop all charges too. This, what happened to my son also happened to Trump. Now, Democrats would want to, throw him off a bridge. They would want to throw him off a bridge. But if you were a real statesman and real magnanimous, you would do something like that. And that would make things better. I agree. You should do something like that. I don't know what he could do, but something like that is what I'm saying. So yes. All righty. Roger says, Larry, Trump's going to cost as part of the House. That's when I hear he wants 2 more GOP House reps to take the minority from 2020 to 2018. New president, both parties do this. Why? I think the issue is that he doesn't actually care. He wants who he wants, and the Republicans deal with whatever they deal with. That's what I think the issue is. He wants what he wants, and he wants loyalists. That's what he wants. This is literally to Roy's point. He wants loyalists. So, yeah, absolutely. I think that's true. That's what he wants. So, all righty. CJ says, illegal in Elmira. Yes, that's where I will be. I will be there 4 p.m. on Sunday. So if you can be there, I'd love to see you there. So yes. Nate says, what are the odds that Jay Bhattacharya lands NIH in all his political horse trading? I think this is where they want to give it up, Nate. I think this is where we have our best chance of getting actual change. I honestly do. I think most people I think most of the politicians, if they're going to give in, this is the one they'll give in on for 2 reasons. The military-industrial complex, while it has tons of money, is how do I explain this? People don't like it. That's what I'll say. Doesn't feel good, doesn't sound good. People take a lot of money. Take a lot of drugs. They're worried. They're not sure. They're not hearing, we'll see. They're more iffy about this. They don't know. Yes and no. I don't know. They're iffy about it. I think they feel comfortable giving that up versus the military-industrial complex. That one, I think they have to protect more. A lot more money comes out of it. A lot of more jobs come out of it. Yeah, I feel like it's, if we have a shot, it's NIH, it's HHS. I think food and drug is where we got a shot. I feel good about it. So yes, that's what I think. So, all righty. Let's see. Cage says, hi, Larry and everyone. If you haven't already listened, I highly recommend Rogan's episode 2237 with Mike Benz. It's a mind blow. I've heard this already. I have not watched it yet, but people are talking about it. So I bet it's probably good. I'm going to take some time to check it out. I will look at that one. So yes. All right. Roger says, Larry, you were good at taking people yelling out to you. Yes, it's true. Some people have seen me get yelled at before. Yes. Some people. Yes. 100%. So we'll see. Linda says, at Larry Sharpe, have you ever heard of the wrap-up smear? I don't think so. I don't think I know the wrap-up smear. No, I don't think so. Yeah. Bonnie, thank you for joining. Says finally let me join. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, I do appreciate that. See if I can go down here. Michael says, I thought Ramaswamy was going to be tapped to fill the rest of Vance's team in the Senate. Oh, Vance's term in the Senate. Oh, is that true? I did not hear that. I did not hear that. Oh, that's not a bad idea. Do I want him? I don't think that's a good idea for him to be forward with you. Just my view on this, Mike. I think he should just stay out. And guys like Ramaswamy are executives. They're not legislators, right? So, yeah. I think he should stay away from that. Be an executive. Be a governor. Be a president. Be a mayor. Executive's where he is. I don't think he's a good legislator. I don't think he'll be a good one. That's who he is. So, yes. Roger says, Larry, usually when a black man's going upstate, it ain't good news. Valid point. Yes. Glad you're going for positive reasons. I am with Butts. Yes, absolutely. Sarah says he's in search of keto pizza. I'll probably be having, remember, it's pasta and pizza. I'll probably be having meatballs. Generally, what I have is something like that when I go to a place like that. Or maybe I have some veal or something or whatever they have, whatever meat they have. I have something like that. But usually it's meatballs. So, yeah. Andrea says, I was thinking we need to get some of the fighters in the Senate and House. Keep Mass in the House and Paul in the Senate. I am with you, Andrea. If you have someone who can help to submit things, yes. Vivek says, RFK Jr. has bipartisan support because they see how popular he is and how many of his positions are the classic Democrats against Big Pharma. I'll go one step further. A lot of you don't see this. MAGA can be, and again, this is the narrative that Democrats have put up, and it has landed. It is a narrative that MAGA is masculine, that MAGA is anti-woman, that MAGA, of course, that narrative has landed very well. MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, doesn't have that narrative at all. Just doesn't. Democrats can't even make it. They could try, it does not work. If any of you have been to RFK, to Bobby Kennedy Jr. events, what's it filled with? Women. Filled with women. You saying Maha is masculine, you just making that up. There's zero evidence to prove that. It is not true. Maha is feminine. It is. Women like it. Families like it. Men like it too, of course, don't get me wrong. But like MAGA isn't only men. Women like it too. But MAGA has an image of being masculine and anti-woman. That's an image. And the Democrats have gone out of their way to paint it that way. They have gone out of their way. And in many cases been good at that paint job. They've been good at it. The Maha, though, is not that. You have not painted it that way. Can't paint it that way. It doesn't work. So I think when it comes to RFK Jr. and the people that support him, a lot of them are women. A lot of them are families, moms. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Vivek. I think he is popular. People do like that. John says Nunes brought the Hispanic vote stronger for DeSantis. He won a ton of blue counties in this last election that were very Hispanic. Oh, okay. So maybe she's a pop. Is she more of a crossover? Is she a hardcore conservative? Is she more of kind of like a has some left, has some right? So yeah, maybe. All righty. Let's see if I can grab this. Shelley says, as my dad wrote on for the asking what made him think the man was dead, he answered, he assumed room temperature. That is a statement that I've used in the past too. What happened to him? He assumed room temperature. Yes, that's how we have to talk about, baby talk on YouTube. So yeah, there we go. So, all right, and grab a couple of these. Yes. Michael says the first of recovery, Larry, is admitting you have a problem. I have many of them, my friend. The question is, do I want to recover? I may not. Just saying. I may not. John says, is there a path for the Libertarian Party in New York State? Yes, me running for governor in 2026. That is the only path. There's no other path. There's no other path. It's that path or nothing. Right now, the lawsuits against New York State have failed, will continue to fail. The Supreme Court will not take it. I went through twice. RFK Jr. went through once, lost every single one of them every single time. Lawsuits are irrelevant, not going to change. They don't care. They have effectively outlawed third parties in New York State, and judges do not care. Constitution doesn't matter to these judges. They don't care at all. Senate doesn't care. The Assembly doesn't care. The government doesn't care. They don't care at all. Not going to happen. We are going to have to fight them on their own with a whole bunch of money and win anyway. That's the only chance. And right now, the only third-party person to do that right now is the guy talking to you right now, Larry Sharpe. There's nobody else right now. Now, might someone else move in and do it? Perhaps. But that person right now does not exist. I'm sorry, hasn't put their head up to exist. Could a very wealthy, popular person be better than me? 100% yes. That totally could happen. It has not happened. And I don't see anybody doing it. If they were, if the person is savvy at all so that they can actually do it, they'd be calling me and saying, Larry, how do I do this? And if they were more popular and wealthier than me, well, I'm not wealthy, could raise more money than me or wealthier than me, I'd be like, I'm on board. Yes, I will help you. What do you require? Tell me what you require. I'm in. If I thought someone could do better than me, I don't require another vanity run. Not required, John. I'm good. I literally have a show with my name on it. I walk around with my name on my shirt. I was on Rogan already. I'm good. Like, I don't have to go to that next level. I'm okay. So if I could find somebody else who would do this and I wouldn't have to be punished, and I can let them get punished instead of me, I'm in. I'm in. At the moment, it's only me. Or it's nobody. So, but if somebody wants to step in, some rich guy or gal wants to pop up and run in New York State and be an independent party, and they're more popular and can raise more money than me, count me on their team. But that has not happened so far. And no one stepped up. So right now it's me. So peace. Thank you for $20. RFK is full of love, and you're right, Larry. Any person that has gone to his events knows that it's not a man or a woman. He's an extraordinary human being, and everyone should be thankful that he would have I think it means HHS. I agree. I think it's exactly the right spot for him. I think, look, would I have rather had him as an independent go through the 12th Amendment and win the presidency? Yes. Yes. If I had my magic powers, I could go back in time and fix things. I'd rather have that. Of course I would. I'd rather have Gary Johnson be president in 2016, obviously, right? But I don't have magic powers. I can't get that back. With what happened, I think this is the best we can get, Peace. To be forward, with what happened and looking at where we are now, I don't see a better outcome than him being HHS. I agree. And I think he has a home. He creates a viable home for women who aren't hardcore conservatives or MAGA and who aren't Democrats. I think he provides a home for them. And they're happy. They love him. They come. You've been to his events, so have I. They love him. They love him. You see, if any of you have been to his events, you go to a Bobby Kennedy Jr. event, and the best part is at the end when people stand in line to have a picture with him. It's 2 hours. It's an hour. So he talks for 20 minutes, and they take pictures for an hour. They love it. They bring books. He signs their books, and blah, 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 and the pictures and the friends. Oh, love that. Peace, you're 100% correct. You've seen it. I've seen it. You know it's true. Yes, 100%. So, all right. Let's see if I can go down here if I could. All righty. John says, dog and pony show with Gaetz coming up to get votes. Really? I don't know. Yeah. Joe says, my conspiracy is that Gaetz thing was arranged for congressional hearing findings on him. Yes. Excuse exit without 100%. I'm with you. I think that's real. This is my point, Joe. I think that's why he left. They were happy. They were like, fine, he's gone. No worries. No one got mad. Like, no one was pissed. No one's pissed. So, yeah, I'm with you. I totally agree. Yes. So, all righty. Yeah, AC goes, he bowed out gracefully with less fuss than I thought he would have. Yes, that's why I think it's fine. 100%. All right, Andrew says, I'm late. Nah, I just know heck will freeze over when Trump hires DeSantis as cabinet member to a niche committee. Maybe. I don't know. One thing I'll give Trump, and Trump can be petty as hell. And those of you watching him, he can be super petty. But he also, all you got to do is just go, I'm kidding. I've always loved you, Trump. And he's like, good, we're back. Me and you buds again. So if DeSantis bends the knee, Trump will be like, oh, you bent the knee? You're my friend again. That's one thing that's good about him. He'll just go, yeah, okay, you're my friend now. So bend the knee. That's all he has to do. Now, does DeSantis want to bend the knee? I would say, yes, he does. Because DeSantis is out of a job in 2 years. Well, year and a half, 2 years. He's out of a job in a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. So, yeah, he might bend that knee. That's what I think. So, yeah. Peanut goes on to, I think sometimes he floats names of people that have opposed him to see how much and how quickly they will kiss his butt. It's a humiliation ritual. Yes, you're right, Peanut, but he rewards them. There's a difference. It isn't just to punish, right? So if he goes, hey, Peanut, bend the knee, tell me how awesome I am. If you go, okay, Trump, you're awesome. He doesn't go, ha, 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 and smack you. He goes, oh, okay, you love me again? All right, you know what? You can be ambassador to Sweden, right? So he will reward the butt kissing, which is why people do it. He doesn't do it just to do it. He does it and rewards you. Why? He wants more people to kiss his butt. So if you kiss his butt and he gives you ambassador to Sweden, then in comes Andrew and he's ambassador to the Netherlands. And then here comes Joe and he's ambassador to China. And well, China's probably too big, but whatever. Mongolia, whatever. Yeah. So he'll just keep doing that. So he does reward though. So I guess that's something. So that's something. Yes. Riot says, Army, I hear they had the best sleeve rolls. See, now you start in trouble. Now you start in trouble, right? I don't like you no more. That's good. Nicely done, though. I do like that. Yes. Thomas says, we need a senior NCO for SecDef. I don't think we ever had one. Have we, Thomas? I can't think of one. I mean, maybe we have. I don't know enough. Do some homework on that one. I don't think we have. All I know is we've had either politicians or officers. I don't think we've ever had one. I don't know. Yeah. Joe says, end corn subsidies. Yes, I'll take it. Yes. 100%. I will 100% take it. Yes. So Picklebell says the same thing's happening in rural areas with Walmart and Amazon. 100%. It's everywhere. The system is so hard on these people. It just makes it to where there's no way they can survive and only big business can come in. They're the only ones who can lobby the government. They're the only. Here's a thing to notice. All right. It is kind of grand strategy, but understand it. How much a government, centralized government, controls the country is often based on how physically big their capital city is and how many people of status and structure and power, status and cash and power live, how close live to that city. You go to a place like Russia, everything's in Moscow. Japan, everything's in Tokyo, right? Things like that. America, hardly anything was in Washington. Not anymore. It used to be everything was in LA or Chicago or Houston or Dallas or New York or Boston, right? And Washington, D.C. was just where the swamp creatures met. It wasn't a big of a deal. Not anymore. All the wealthiest places in the world, they weren't by D.C. They were in LA. They were in New York. They were in Boston. They were in Chicago. They were in Dallas. They were, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, whatever. They were down there. They weren't in D.C. Now they are. Now they are. Northern Virginia. Some of the most powerful, wealthiest people live in Northern Virginia and Maryland now. Yeah. As they begin to control more and more, they go there. Walmart did this. Walmart did the same thing. Walmart is Bentonville. Is that right? Arkansas. I think that's right. If I got it right, I think it's Bentonville, Arkansas. Walmart is an empire. And they said, oh, you care about us? You will move your headquarters to Bentonville. And people did. Because if you wanted Walmart, you had to live near where the king is. The king and queen are right there. You must go live there next to them so you can be seen. I'm not making this up. That's true. Walmart knew that. So they made people go to, I think it's Bentonville, wherever it is, right? They made them go there. Yeah. Now we have it here. Same thing. So if you can lobby, you can win. Well, Dollar General is massive. They can lobby. Walmart, they can lobby. Amazon, they can lobby. Larry and Pinkerbell's Diner, we can't lobby. We're screwed. Sorry, Pinkerbell. We had a great store. It's gone. We can't do it. That's the sad part. So yes. Peace, thank you for the $10. No, Larry, this is not your last showing on Joe Rogan. We're going to create a series of documentaries, and we're going to raise it to the next level. Larry and Dean and Joe say the word. Ooh, I like it. Look, to be forward, I'm not saying I don't want to go back on Joe Rogan. I would have, Joe, if you happen to be watching, I'm happy to come back on. I'm happy to go back on. Absolutely. All I'm saying is I don't need to. If someone else can run in this state and get ballot access for a third party and break this horrible system, I'm in. I'm in. So yes, that's all I'm saying. But no. I'll go on again. I'm just saying I don't have to punish myself again. For those who don't realize, when you run a serious campaign statewide, not everyone can afford to do so, but if you do so, it sucks everything out of you. I literally couldn't work for a year. When I was done my first run in 2018, I was $100,000 in debt. Why? Because I spent all my own money on the campaign. No, I raised $500,000. I didn't spend that much. I gave myself a $10 million. $10 million. I wish I had $10 million. I gave myself a $10,000 donation. I did that because I said, if I'm going to ask people for money, I'm going to put my own money where my mouth is. So I gave myself a donation of $10,000. That was legal. I did that. And I stopped working for a year. Now I had a wife and 2 kids, wife who didn't work, in New York City. You can imagine my bills. So don't work for a year. You go into debt. I went into debt. And luckily, as a consultant, I could make that money back. I could pay it off. And I did. It took me time, but I paid it back. So now, and I worked my ass off. I would go away. I'd leave my home and come back 8 days later. And those of you on the road with me know I'd go away for 8 days later. Why, when I work out and everything I do, my diet is always about stamina. I'm not sitting here getting massive muscles. I'm sitting here being lean and stamina. Why? For that. So I could go and do 3 or 4 events every single day for 6 or 7 days in a row, each one an hour, hour and a half, plus shoot videos in the middle of that, plus do press hits in the middle of that. It is punishment. It is horrible punishment. And why would I do that if I don't have to, if someone else would do it for me? When I was on my 2022 run, which was worse, I was $40,000 in debt. And that took me longer to pay off because of how broken that was and how people didn't trust me anymore after that terrible loss I had. That was even worse. So why would I do this again? Yeah, it's, if you want to play this game, you really gotta do it hard. So yes, P says, no one's going to do it except you, Larry. You know that, Larry, right? Sadly, at the moment, I can hope still that someone else will, but yeah, I think you're right. Thank you for the $5, my friend. I do appreciate it. So yeah, it is very tough. So in any case, Wixote says Dems and socialism. That's true. You know what? You're saying, okay, let me be clear on this. You are correct. Let me do 2 things. Number 1, Democrats don't actually want socialism. That's true. They talk it. That is the thing they say. They act like they do. But you're right, they don't. The left, the actual left, doesn't like Democrats because Democrats act like they want socialism, but actually don't. They just want corporatism. And they'll say it's socialism to make the left people feel good about it, but it's actually just corporatism. You are correct. But still, that's the story I'm being told. If you go back several years before Trump, Republicans had no answers. They were just like, the country's fine. What's wrong? I got no answer. Bootstraps, work hard, whatever. That was what Republicans were saying. And when I'm in trouble, I'll take whatever someone's saying. I don't care what you, better than nothing. Now the reverse has happened. Democrats, no, everything's fine. What? Biden's perfect. Harris is perfect. There's no inflation. You're imagining it. Everything is wonderful. People are like, Dad, what's going on? And Republicans go, we'll blow it up. Okay, we'll take it. So that was my point. Your point is a valid one. I should have been clearer on that. Thank you for that. Shelley says, Distinguished Gentleman, that's what it was called, is free with ads on YouTube right now. There we go. Yes, if anyone wants to see it, that's what it's called. The Distinguished Gentleman. Thank you, Shelley. You remember that. I do appreciate that. You remember that movie. So yes. And AC says, Super Predators. Thank you. That's what it was. Super Predators. There we go. There we go. All right. Sarah says, I listened to that one piece. I thought Larry's was substantial. Oh, thank you. Glenn went on, but he really did have fantastic points. Yeah, absolutely. That's true. All right. Let's see here. Roger says, I had Albany pizza. Didn't taste any better than down here. About the rest of Upstate, Larry. Shame on you, Roger. I used to like you. Don't you dare say that New York pizza isn't the best pizza ever. New York City pizza is the best pizza in the world. Period. Done. No matter what. Best pizza in the world. New York City. Chicago people. No. New York City, best. New York's best. There we go. Ace says, meatballs are good. Yes, I'm a big fan. 100%. John says, moderate Republican is Nunes. Oh, so that may not be bad for the Republican Party down there, right? May not be bad. It'd be okay for them. It's a red state, but there's blue people there, so maybe it's good for them. Okay, so she was just like fill a slot. It's fine. Happens all the time. So happens all the time. I like that. That Liberty Lady says Larry Sharpe for New York governor. I'm trying, guys. If you want to help out, click that button. You know the one I'm talking about. The one that has LIKE, the thumb up, that one. Click that button. It does matter. Every little bit you can. If you haven't shared this into something now, why do you hate me? I don't know why you hate me. I'm sitting there doing my best. Don't hate me. Instead, share it. Share it someplace. Share it into Twitter. Share it into Facebook. Share it into a Facebook group, whatever. And also, please follow me on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe on YouTube. You might say, Larry, I subscribed already. Why do you keep bugging me? Because YouTube decides that you're a bot randomly. It does that. And then unsubscribes you and sometimes unnotifies you because it decides you're a bot randomly. It's just if you didn't get a notification, like, wait a minute, I clicked that button. I didn't get a notification because YouTube decided you were a bot and just undid it. So please redo it. Thank you for all the super chats. They're always good. They help tremendously. Membership's the best for me if you can. If you're in a spot where you can, click that join button on YouTube. It's great if you can do so. Click that join button. It's $5 a month. Keeps me going. And I think it's going to be the 16th of December. I think so. I'm going to have another Sharpe Club with members on the show. I think the 16th, but I'm not 100% sure. I will put a post in the members only chat on both the Sharpe Way and Larry Sharpe when I figure out what date that is. People who want to be on, I'll have 3 of you on again, as we had last time. Everyone loved that show. Hopefully you will love it again. So I will add that piece too. So yes. All righty. Grab some more of these if I can. All righty. Peekaboo says, oh man, I love the ambassador to Sweden. It would be fun. I'm with you. I would love being an ambassador. I think that'd be great. Yes. AC says when he's president, he's going to make you ambassador to Sweden. You are done and done. That is awesome. Yes. AC says, I mean, I don't know how much of a reward it is. He'll throw you under the bus at the drop of a hat. You just got to keep the knee bent. See, Ace, that's your problem. You can't keep the knee bent. Some people don't mind keeping that knee bent. Keep the knee bent. You're good. That's the answer. Just the problem is you'll get up. See, that's your problem, AC. You'll bend the knee, then you'll get up. You can't get up. Just don't get up. It'll be fun. That's it. It's simple. I know how this stuff works. It's all good. John, my friend, thank you for the $10. I appreciate it. Every bit counts. I do appreciate these super chats. They're great. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So yes. Roy says, see, Larry, if you're a politician, whatever city you're in would have the best pizza. That's true. Yes, but that will be a lie. So yes. And you know, we were talking about Gary Johnson today and how much I love Gary Johnson. But I think he might have been too honest for this game. I might be also. But yeah. I don't care. I think you can be ruthless and be honest. And I think Gary Johnson was not ruthless. And again, I love Gary Johnson. I think he wasn't ruthless. That was an issue. I would be utterly ruthless, no doubt. Greg says, do you regret running for governor at all or have any regrets? How did you get from thinking about running for governor to actually doing things needed to get into the race? I'm happy to tell you the story. So when I was going to leave New York State, I was tired of this. Totally tired of how bad New York State was in 2016. So I thought I'm going to leave. But I was thinking about politics. Let me give you 2. 2016, I decide, okay, let me move forward. They're all put together. 2012, I become interested in politics when I hear Gary Johnson speak. I actually start believing that maybe there's a chance, maybe there's a chance to fix the country. Maybe third parties are the answer. Start thinking that. That's where my head starts going. I attend some libertarian events. Maybe these guys have something good. I'm okay. I supported our governor candidate in 2014, a guy named Michael McDermott. I was all in. I wrote him checks. I paid for his gas. I was his driver. I drove him across New York State. I was all in. All the things that people did for me when I ran for governor, I did for him in 2014. I literally drove him. I rented the car, paid for the gas. I was a driver. I paid for the hotels. I paid for every meal all the way up from New York City. He lived in Suffolk County. I picked him up in Suffolk County, drove him all the way to Buffalo. Yes, literally, if you know New York State, end to end. Why Buffalo? In 2014, we got into the debates. This is true. Most people don't know this. There were gubernatorial debates, and Howie Hawkins and Michael McDermott were both in debates. So McDermott got in there. So I was giving him debate prep the whole time. Got him over there, gave him the car. I had to go back to work. So I gave him the car. I took the train back. True story. I gave him cash for the gas, paid for his hotels up front, paid for a train from Buffalo back to Penn Station. So I go back to work because I had to work too while I was doing this, right? So I couldn't take that much time off. So I go back and forth. I'm totally supporting him. I'm like, this is going to work. We're going to do good. We're going to do great. We got our asses kicked. We had like 12,000 votes. I mean, we got murdered. We got slaughtered. It was embarrassing. I'm like, this is terrible. 2016 comes. I think, you know what? I can do better than this. So I decided I'm going to try to become Gary Johnson's vice president. Love Gary Johnson, his second run. I go to work. I got Gary Johnson. I meet Gary. I know Gary Johnson, the governor. So him, and my daughter meet at a diner here in Manhattan. And it's a true story for Gary Johnson. I said, Gary, I call him governor. I call him Gary. I always call him governor. To this day, I call him governor. I said, Governor, I want to be a VP. He says, what? I said, yeah, I want to be a VP. He goes, Larry, I don't want you to be my VP. This is how honest he is. He tells me this. I'm buying him freaking breakfast with my daughter in front of me. He goes, I don't want you to be my VP. That's how honest he is. He's right to my face. I went, okay. Who are you looking at? At that point, he wasn't sure. He hadn't gone to Bill Weld yet. He was thinking still about Judge Jim Gray from 2012. So he's like, I'm still thinking maybe the judge. I don't know, but I don't want you as my VP. I said, all right, Governor, you want me not to run? This is what he told me. And this is another reason why I love this man. He said, no, Larry, you should run anyway. You'll raise the bar. He could have and should have said, no, don't run. I don't want you. I want my guy. What matters is what I want. Don't. He didn't say that. He said, run. You'll raise the bar. Because for those who don't know, in the Libertarian Party, presidential run and VP run are separate runs. They're not in a ticket. So if you have to fight to get both of those. We vote on them separately. So he said, if I run as VP, it'll raise the bar. He'll have to get a better VP to beat me. That's what he was saying. How can I not love this man? How can I not love this man? So when 2016 came and I lost the VP slot, Bill Weld beat me. But when that happened, that was my first debate ever. Those who watched the debate, it was on C-SPAN. I slaughtered Bill Weld. This guy is a former governor of Massachusetts, and I slaughtered him in the debate stage. I slaughtered him in the debate stage. It wasn't even close. And it's not me talking. You watch yourself. I won that debate hands down. That's why I almost won. It was my first time running for anything. I dropped $6,000 or $7,000 of my own dollars on my own campaign because no one would pay for it. No one knew who I was. So I spent all my own money on it to do a campaign to get there. Had a booth, the whole deal. Try to win the damn thing. Lost by 31 votes. Not that I'm counting. I'm not counting. You're counting, Greg, not me. Anyway, lost by 31 votes, and he became the VP. But I was in, though. I loved Gary Johnson. So what did I do? I became a surrogate for Gary Johnson. If you saw, I was on TV for Gary Johnson 2016. I was in the radio for him. Back then when RT was still a thing, I was on RT for him. I stood in twice for debates on him. When they wanted to have theoretical presidential debates and they would have the presidential debate or their representative come in, I was up against Hillary Clinton's rep, Donald Trump's rep, and was it Jill? No, it was Gary. Was it Jill? It was Jill Stein then. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Jill Stein then back then, 2016. It was Jill Stein's rep. I was there. Each one I was debating for them, right? I would debate for Gary Johnson in those cases. So I did all the things. The times you saw me be a surrogate for RFK Jr. this year, why I was good at it, I'd done it before. I did it for Gary Johnson for the whole 2016 campaign. So I'm in. I thought Gary Johnson was going to get 5%. He didn't. I was heartbroken. I really thought he was going to get 5%. I thought he would. And he didn't. He got 3%. I was like, this is over. It's done. War's over. I'm out. So I thought about leaving. So I thought I'm going to leave New York State. This place is a disaster. It's getting worse. I'm going to go. So I thought I need to go to a big city because what I do for a living is I'm a business consultant. I have big business around me. I don't get paid. I need big business around me. Small businesses can't afford me. So I need big business. So I thought, go to a big city. I thought Charlotte, North Carolina, big city, lots of big companies that go there. I went to Charlotte. And when I went there, it was great. I could sell my shoebox of a house here in Queens, buy a mansion in North Carolina, pay less taxes, still work. Oh my God, let's go do that. But when I came back, I didn't move. I got angry. I got angry because I said to myself, why do I have to move? Why do I have to leave where I'm born, where I'm raised, where my family is, where my friends are, where my business is? Why do I have to move? Beautiful state New York is. The wonderful state. And I got to see it again. I hadn't done much upstate traveling since I was very young, like teenager, kid, with family and stuff. But then when I helped, this goes back to 2014, when I was supporting Michael McDermott, I traveled across state again. And I fell in love with the state all over again. And I was like, this state's amazing. The state's beautiful. The state's awesome. This is a garbage government, but it's a great state. I said, why? You know what? I'm not leaving. I'm going to run for governor. This is what I thought. I'm going to win, and I'm going to change the state. Yes, I actually thought that, Greg. I did think that. I know, as stupid as that sounds, but to tell you the truth, I was like, I could win this thing. I thought I could win and change. I thought that. So then I said, you know what? Time to get my people together. So I grabbed some of the people who I'd known from before. And one thing I could do well is I could fundraise. I'm still a good fundraiser. I raised maybe 200 grand, $350,000 maybe for Gary Johnson, maybe more. I forgot how much I raised a lot of money for Gary Johnson. One night, $130,000 I raised for Gary. I'm a good fundraiser. So I raised money. So I still have people who knew me. People, the Libertarian Party knew me from 2016 from my almost beating Bill Weld, and many of them regretted picking Bill Weld, not me. So they all owed me favors. So that's when I said, I write myself a check for $10,000 because I have a problem asking you for money if I haven't done it. You hear me say this all the time. I can't point my finger at you unless I point at me first. And I really like pointing my finger at people. Like I really like it. So I got to point my finger at myself a lot, or I can't point it at you. And I love pointing it at you. So I got to point it at myself a lot. So I said, I'm writing myself a check for 10 grand. I'm putting 10 grand in my own pocket. So now I can ask you for money because I did it. I put my money where my mouth is. You're going to put yours now too. So I started raising money. I raised about $500,000. I had over 100 volunteers, put a big team together. And I thought initially that we might actually win. I did believe it at first. And the reason why I believed it is 2018, Republicans were getting their ass kicked. Cuomo was super popular. And they didn't even put up a candidate. The Republicans couldn't find a candidate who would do it until May of that year. That is how bad and broken Republicans were in 2018. So I thought, damn, maybe I can win this thing. They're not ready. They don't have any money. They got nothing. What I didn't realize is the fact that I was running and making impact, they went, oh, we ain't going to have this happen. I actually spurred them into running. I didn't know any better, Greg. I didn't know. I was almost like teasing, like, ha, ha, I got you. Like, oh, you got me, huh? Let me show you something. They put their guy in. They threw $3 million behind him. I had $500,000. Then they're like, Larry, just drop up, be the lieutenant governor. I'm like, I can lose by myself. Yeah, but you already got a team. We'll put your team with our team. We have a chance to win this. I said, we got no chance. You can't win this. It's impossible. And so I thought, okay, I can still beat the Republican. I'll come in second. I actually believe that too, Greg. I did. I knew at that point I couldn't win. Once they threw the money behind him and they had an actual candidate and someone who was skilled, the guy they put it was Mark Molinaro. He's a skilled politician. He's not some chump. He's a skilled politician. All right, I can't beat him, right? He's got $3 million to start. They gave him more, but they start with $3 million and a skilled politician. Okay, got it. Maybe I'll come in second, maybe. Then I realized I can't even come in second. Okay, maybe I'll come in third. Okay, I'll come in third. We'll do that. I'll get that. And I kept trying. I actually only got 2% of the vote, but what happened was I actually was able to get ballot access in New York State for the Libertarian Party, and I crossed the state the next year in 2019 and supported local candidates. I had 107 local victories in 2019. There were 107 libertarians who won in 2019. 107, from 0 to 107. We were actually growing locally. As everyone says, local, we were doing it. That's when the government decided, we're going to destroy you, Larry Sharpe. And they said, the story is, they want to destroy the Working Families Party. That is a lie. That's not true. Working Family Party still exists and it's been supporting Democrats ever since. It was to destroy the Libertarian Party, and it worked perfectly. What are my regrets on that run? One of my friends, a guy by the name of Phil Ritchie, said, he was one of my advisors, and he was an advisor also to Michael McDermott. That's where I met him, was the McDermott campaign. He said, Larry, you don't understand what you're doing. I said, what do you mean? He goes, the second that you win this ballot access, you must stay part of the party. You can't leave. You must run the party. It must be run by you, or it will fall apart. And I said, dude, I can't do it. I got a family. I can't do this, man. I'm killing myself now. I do this, I'm finished. I'm not gonna have a family to come home to. I can't do this. He said, you have to. It's gonna fall apart. He was right. My regret is I walked away. I said, I did my bit for King and Country guys, run it. We had no idea. And when I say we, I add me to this, right? I'm not just, I blame myself too. We as libertarians in New York State had no idea the punishment that we would go under. We were not ready for it at all. And people be mad at me, Larry, you can shut up. You had no idea what you were doing. Neither did I. I'm not saying this is us. Libertarians in New York State, we were lost. We had no idea how to run a party, an actual party in New York State. We did not. We fell apart horribly. We didn't know how to raise money effectively. We didn't know how to play the game effectively. And we threw people out. We became like all of a sudden purity testing when we should have been the opposite. We should have our wide open. We didn't. And I regret that. I regret not taking that party and being more open with it and being the face of it. And I didn't do that. I regret that. I should have stayed on board. Phil was right. And I told him that. He rubs in my face when I talk to him, but he was right. I should have done it. And I regret that. The second time I ran 2022, I utterly regret 2022. 2022 was a disaster. I should have, and the second thing I regret is I allowed the party to convince me to not sue the state on my own. Also was a mistake. I should have sued the state on my own. I knew what I was doing, but the problem again was, to my point, Glenn, I just didn't have the bet. I was trying to pay back $100,000 in debt. I just didn't have the bandwidth to then jump on this, to get on the lawsuit. If I would have sued on my own, me against the state, I would have won. No doubt. Because the problem is the people who were doing the lawsuits were trying to like work things for other issues and the future and all kind of shit that didn't matter at all. No one cared about. I had one thing. The state told me it would give me 4 years. I'm a citizen. I did what it was supposed to do. It did not. The state broke its contract with me. This is contract law. I want my 4 years. Then change whatever you want to change, whatever. I get on the ballot. Larry Sharpe, did this. I get in the ballot. That's what happened. That was my lawsuit. Everyone in the end said, Larry, that was right lawsuit. You should have done that. Yeah. And I allowed the party to convince me to not do that. And that was dumb of me. Because I'm not dumb of me. That was wrong of me because I was too busy trying to pay back $100K in debt. So I regret that too. So it's 3 regrets right there. Now my 2022 race, I completely regret. I wish I'd never run. It was nothing but a disaster. I saw so many people who I thought were my friends stab me in the back. The National Party utterly abandoned me. In fact, not only abandoned me, literally hurt me. Literally, what the National Party did to me is the reason why I couldn't get on the ballot. Number one reason. And that's because they lied to me. And so people don't know the story. The National Party said, Larry, we want to give you money, but only if you achieve X, Y, and Z. I said, don't do that. You can't do it to me. Well, no, because it's based upon, I said, no, New York State, the law to make it harder, I can't pay per signature. That's not how it works. I have to pay by the hour. So I must pay up front. So if I don't make the numbers, I still owe. You can't tell me you'll pay me if I get it because then I'm in debt. Doesn't work. I said, if that's the case, don't give me the money. Just tell me you won't give me the money and I'll find another way of raising the money. And they went, no, Larry, we agree. We will give you the money. No strings attached. I said, great. 4 days before it started, they changed their mind. So I began in debt. Not just that. I wanted to get a different person to run it, but I couldn't. I didn't have any money. I couldn't afford it. The best people to run it cost money. I didn't have it. Why? I didn't have time to get it because they told me they would give it to me with 4 days before it started versus telling me 2 months ago, I would have raised the money. I could have got somebody else to run it. So I had to go to a guy who was free, and free, what do you think you get? You get that. And so I couldn't make the numbers. We fought, we fell apart, we lost. A lot of people blame me for everything. They thought people were so stupid. They said, Larry screwed us all over. Why would I purposely lose? Clearly, I thought I was going to win. Clearly, I was doing what I thought was right. I regretted it. However, there's a silver lining to that. All of the people who stabbed me in the back, I learned who was my ride or die. Like I learned who will be there. And one of those people is someone who is watching right now. Her name is Missy Richmond, who I love so much. She was my ride or die. When things were terrible and people were ignoring me and people were stabbing me in the back, and people were calling me horrible names, people were calling the cops on me, people were suing me. I'm not joking, all those things. Missy never turned away from me. Never. She was by my side the entire time. She never doubted me. She never turned. That's why she's still here now, and that's why she's my ride or die. 2022 taught me that lesson. So while I regret doing it, there was an advantage to it. Learning all the people who weren't going to be there, the people who only loved me when I was winning. Boy, oh boy, did that hurt then. But now I know who I can trust. Right? I always say in my business, you build teams through losses, not through victories. And boy, did I build a team through that loss. So yeah, a lot of garbage there. I went long, Greg, but you asked. I'm happy to give the answer. You did ask, so I want to give you that answer. So yes. Anyway, let me grab a couple more of these. All righty. Peace, thank you for the $2. Washington, D.C. pizza, Paradiso, DuPont Circle. There is good pizza outside of New York. There is. The best is just New York. That's all. Yes. Sarah says, thank you for the $5. What do you think of Mike Johnson? Seems awful to me. Is Trump just smoozing, making deals? Larry, thanks for your indomitable spirit. New York is like, oh, well, thank you for that. I think Mike Johnson is an operator. That's what I think he is. I think he's an operator. And he's there to operate to the best of his ability and to just move the agenda forward. I don't think he's good or bad, to be forward with you. I think he's an operator. And I think he's actually a pretty good operator. I think he's actually pretty good. He gets a lot of stuff done. He knows when to step up, when not to. He knows when to shut up and when not to. He knows when to bend the knee and not to. He is a swamp creature without question, but he's an operator. I think that's what he is. And if Trump can use him well, good for Trump. But I think he's an operator. That's what I think he is. So yes. Chrissy says, I heard RFK still has campaign debt. Can his rich friends give him money for his upcoming birthday? Can he use his birthday money to pay off his debt? Yes and no. To be forward, the problem is if you win, right, people love you and they want to give you money. In 2018, any debt I had, my donors were still proud and happy because I'd gained ballot access and was still moving. So people were still giving money. So I was still able to move forward. I was able to fund traveling across the state without my own dollars because donors still giving money. I was winning. 2022, I got my ass kicked and donors still gave me $500,000. I raised $500,000 again and lost it and couldn't even get on the ballot. My donors didn't want to hear shit from me. They're like, I don't know. So no, that was all me having to pay all that money. That's why it was so hard. It was hard to pay off the second amount, even though it was less, because I had no donor support. My donors abandoned me. They're like, you can't win. You lost. You suck. Gone. And I learned that too. So yeah, people like winners. They don't like losers. So yes. So can they? Yes. However, they need to pay. They need to put. Can he put his own money into his campaign? Yes. Only if he's running for something. If he's not running for something, no. So they can pay it off, but they have to give it to the campaign. So they have to follow campaign finance rules. So yes, that's how that would work. In theory, if no one checks him out, he could take money himself, put his personal money into his campaign. The problem is, if he gets investigated, they have to figure out, was this made to, is that the reason why I did it? In which case, then there'll be campaign issues. So yes. So anyway, all righty. Let me grab a couple more of this if I could. All right. So many of these. I appreciate all the things you're putting up here. All righty. Woman in the Woods says, don't regret that, Larry. We learn from our mistakes. It's our mistakes that make us better people. Yeah, I think that's true. Yes. I think that's true. Yeah. And she goes on to say, take care of family first. Yes, but still, yeah. Shelley says, Libertarian National Party is horrible. Often true. So yes, often true. Yes. Missy says, thank you, Larry. You know you're my ride or die, Missy. You know you are. You were there when I needed you. You were there. Greg says, thanks so much, Larry. So what you're saying is the initial linchpin to you getting involved was you decided to go support someone who was running. Yes. That's why you hear me always ask you to support people. Yes. Right. When I love Michael McDermott. He had his own issues too. Get me wrong. We all have issues. Me too. We all have issues. He had them too. But I think he wanted to make impact. I believe that. He wanted to make impact, and he was prepared to literally stop working. To the point, this is an interesting story about Michael. He's passed away since. He had some health issues, and he had them during his run that he wasn't sharing. He had diabetes, and he was struggling in many ways, and he actually eventually lost his leg. And he was walking with a limp. I didn't know why. It's because his leg was in trouble. So he actually lost his leg the next year. I again, because I was supporting him, I helped put money for it to buy his new leg, all that stuff. I was trying my best, to help out, right? To help, because I knew what he had put himself through. So yeah, I was trying. I thought he wanted to make impact, and I believe he did. Again, some people like him, some people didn't, but I think Michael McDermott wanted to make impact. I believe that, and so I was on board. Make an impact. Let's do it. I'm in. Let's do it. And that got me going. But from that, I realized I could do this. I could do this. And then I thought I would be supporting. I didn't run for a governor. This is what often happens. People say, "Oh, I'm gonna join the Libertarian Party and run for office." I didn't do that. I joined the Libertarian Party in 2012. Then I supported a candidate in 2014. Then I was a surrogate in 2016. Then I ran in 2018. So I've been with the party for 6 years before I ran. I was in the trenches first, right? I did the things that people do before I ran. I was a fundraiser. I was a driver, right? I was a donor. I was all the things required, right? I went out and got signatures. I was a petitioner, right? I did all the things, right? I did it all. By the time 2018 came, that was one of the reasons, to your point, Greg, why so many people came to me, because they knew I was with them when McDermott was running, or I was with them when Gary Johnson was running, or we got signatures together, or whatever. Like, they knew who I was. They'd watched. We ate the same dirt, as they say in the Marine Corps, right? We ate the same dirt. So they were like, "Yeah, I'm on board, Larry." So that's why a lot of them came, because of that. So yes, I always say, if you're unsure what you want to do, support somebody, right? Whoever that person is, support somebody. I completely agree. That's the issue. So anyway, I hope that makes sense. So Shelly says, "I've shown him as much as I could, and my first ever campaign donation was to you. The second was to Queter." Thomas Queter is great. I appreciate it. I know you have showed up. You've shown up to more of my events. You have. I appreciate that. Yes, tremendously. You've seen me go around the state. You watched me get my butt kicked in court. You were there when I got my butt kicked in court. You remember. I did get my butt kicked in court, and I kept coming, even though, man, that was horrible. That was horrible. Anyway, now you guys got me telling stories. Guys, if you like the stories I'm telling you, if you see that I try to follow Gary Johnson's rule. And his rule is just tell the truth. You don't have to remember anything. That's it. Tell the truth. You don't have to remember anything. So when you ask me questions, I give you the best answers I can give you. I give you the real answers, what I believe, what I think is honest. So you hear me, and I'm raw with it. You see it. When I'm hurt, I'm hurt. I'm still human. When I feel petty, I tell you when I feel petty. I try not to be petty. I do my best to not be petty, but sometimes I feel it. It's true. So if you like that, click that button. You know the one. LIKE. Do that. Share it. I bug you. It's the only way this thing moves forward. Share it into anything else. Share it into Twitter. Share it into Facebook. Share it into whatever. Share it. Cut and paste it someplace. Doesn't matter where you put it. Get it out there. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you haven't followed me yet, please follow me. All those pieces count, right? I don't want you to be a bot. Super chats are always appreciated. Membership is key. The more members, the better. If I have more members, people go, "Oh, here's my members." That means people like him. They want to watch. Other thing to remember, after this processes, how it takes long for YouTube to process. If you're watching on YouTube, if you come back and you're watching it later, you're watching it the next day, whenever you're watching it, very often at the end, you'll see a video pop up. Click on one of those videos immediately. If you click on one of those videos immediately, YouTube goes, "Oh, you must like this guy because you're watching more than his videos." It does matter. So watch time matters, and clicking the next thing also does matter. But no matter what, once this is over, please come back and leave, if you would, leave a comment afterwards, because you know who likes that? Yes, Al Gore. Rhythm. He likes it very much. Roy says, "Too honest to be a politician is why we need statesmen." I would agree with that. I think you're right, Roy. That's a great way to end this. Guys, thank you so much for tonight. I will be on tomorrow again at 7 or 7:30, but probably 7. And I will be on one of those two for sure. I will see you all